Hello, everyone. I'm Bruce, and welcome to today's DVMUG meeting. We hold this weekly, and today's my time to host the meeting. Today's Tuesday, April 28, 2026. As you can see, I have I have some news followed by some short videos. Those ones with the red apple that look like tomatoes, sorta. Are all short and they're Apple. And then there we have some couple from MacMost and we have a couple from dance tutorials. Uh, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to YouTube later on. The links to the videos and the news are on the BBS right now, and John, I believe, just put it in the Zoom chat. So if you're interested in any of these, and I've got some interesting ones, you're welcome to just click on the link and read all about it. So with that said, let's see what the news is. So the first thing, as soon as I get it to is to remember to update all your equipment. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there and it looks ugly. That's not friendly to you. Whatever you do, and I'm gonna say it again, whatever you do, don't get stuff off the web and download it and say, okay, um, unless you're real sure that it's safe and it's not gonna hurt your equipment. With that said, I will explain it later on, but I'm gonna show you right now. Um, Beware of email spam. This is what happened to me. As you can see on that screen, I've got this. I went to my email, clicked on it, and all of a sudden it was taken over. And it didn't talk to me this time. The previous one talked to me, but this one indicated, you know what? By all the appearances, and I know all about you. Okay, I don't have enough time, but let's get down to business. And look down on the second arrow. It says, give me $600 USD in lowercase, and everything's going to be fine. And at that point, I realized this is not funny. This is just a web page that's splashed up there, and this is not the whole message. I've got like four different pages of it. Down there, it tells you you are to go to here. You have to click on this link. You have to provide me with this money. Go click. The link is here. It's transfer the money to this wallet if you want, and all this stuff. Well, instantly, I knew that was that was said as a scam. So I just went and took some pictures. I uh, I ignored it. What I did was I took pictures, took the necessary information that I needed from here, and I rebooted the PC. I mean, my Mac. And I rebooted the Mac, um, opened up my Safari, and I cleared the history. And I was meaning I want it out of there. I don't want it to pop back at me again. So here, I went and looked at this. So then after I've done that, I went over and displayed the headers. I found out what this guy's domain is, which is the one up there, something out of UK. Um, I in my email service, I have the ability to to block domains, and I blocked the domain. And I went down to where it says received, the third arrow down. That's the IP address. I didn't do it yet, but there is a filter that I can write, and I can block that IP address. Well, I've done that. It never reappeared again. So My thing is, don't panic, don't do anything, don't go clicking on anything they tell you to. Basically, it's just a web page. Just ignore it. Uh, Force quit it if you necessary, and delete your stuff that could bring this back up again, and everything's going to be fine. Nothing came back to me, and hopefully never will. So just some information from me to you, but just beware. That's why I said update, update, and update. The next one is gonna. Does anybody have any experience with that? Also, I remember somebody did say something long
Me.
time ago, and it basically
Yeah.
the same thing happened.
Yes, it happened to me.
No, sorry to hear that. I hope you didn't have to pay. And you didn't
No,
pay.
because I called Apple and they told me how to deal with it and what to do. And it was pretty much that about because I couldn't close the screen. I couldn't do anything. It froze
Yeah.
it. And they told me what
So
to do. And it was pretty much that about just shutting down the machine completely and then rebooting it and emptying out the cache to make sure
there
it
you
wasn't
go.
there.
Yeah. You did exactly what needs to be done, Judy. That's good. I think Peter ran into something like that too. But anyway, the next news is this. Um, this is from 9 to 5 Mac. I don't know how to pronounce that name of that the company there is. I think it's Mosile or Mosul or anyway. They identified a couple of threats. A couple of threats that are flying underneath all the uh, security that Apple has and everybody out there. These things don't really do much. They just collect your information. They just sit there and collect your information. Um, the idea here is to if you click on this link, you're gonna read some real good information regarding what they're trying to do and how to circumvent this situation next time. The point they're pushing is that Apple came out on top. Apple's got the sandbox. Apple will not allow anybody without their permission to sell anything from the Apple Store, and that's being a whole bunch. Apple's got, we have our own virus protection that runs on our system. And in the newest systems, in when Mike Dickerson bought his new iPhone, and whoever bought an iMac, I'm sorry, uh, um, a new Mac that runs the most current with the most current chip has memory integrity enabled on it. It's got a special chip that enables memory integrity. And what I read about that was that that means that it cannot write, no third party is able to write to the memory. So all the Apple security put together puts Apple devices and oh, and I forgot one more thing. And it's also Apple hardware, meaning the box you're carrying around or the box you're running right now, it's from Apple, and they are every time they get to it, they try to improve security, and they are doing a good job according to all the information I read. So don't worry about it. They say you just found stuff, and they actually explained what's being done to prevent uh, that stuff from giving us problems. I'm just informing you. So anybody out there having issues with viruses or anything like that, like slowdowns or anything? I hope not. So, okay, well, on on to the next one. And this is where it starts getting hairy. I'm growing concerned. This Entropic, Mitos, and Project Glasswing. Uh, what it means for the Apple devices. Mitos is a new AI agent that's able so and I don't know if this is true, and I'm taking it as being true because they wouldn't be publishing anything like that, but it's real good at finding issues with operating systems, holes in operating systems. And they themselves, I've got two links there. One is from Tidbits, the one on top, and the other one is from New York Times. They go into real detail of how this could be misused. In other words, the good guys like Entropic puts this stuff out and they go out there and find these old bugs that have been around for all this time, but also the bad guys by using almost the same software can dupe the system to saying, well, we're doing a test. We're not really doing anything bad. We're running a test. And they're saying if they're able to do that and all these systems out there with these bugs, he says that there's going to be some problems, which reminds me of, and I would compare it to Y2K, which was a date issue, which wasn't a problem, but according to them, please read the articles. There is a lot of stuff to be thinking about with AI nowadays. Anyone care to comment? AI is getting really good and supposedly really fast. So I hope and tell you the truth, they admit that the bad guys are ahead. And on top of that, they're saying this is only here. Entropic is saying this is here. The project Glasswing is an association of a whole bunch of people uh, working with software. I'm sorry, yeah, software code that joined Entropic and are using their equipment, I mean, software to make sure that none of this stuff is put out there with so other people can or others AI software can actually find the holes in it. So it's an association of a whole bunch of uh, companies that are writing software, and they're abiding by certain rules to not to provide any issues that have to be dealt with later on. So just more information for you to think about. So let's move on if there is no more. And this one over here, this is from Associated Press, and it says AI is gold. It's a mine for spammers and scammers. And Google, this is according to Google, Google has blocked 8.3 billion ads, including 602 million ads with policy violations that are most closely associated with scams. That's up from 5.1 billion last year. And about 24.9 million advertisers accounts were suspended last year. More than 4 million of those have been scam related activities. So, internet is a good thing, but there are people out there that just try and take advantage of us. So this is just to say again, beware. So this is it. Don't panic. Nothing's going to happen, but we might have to be more a little vigilant.
Is Malwarebytes still our best bet at trying to protect ourselves from infestation?
Hmm. Yeah, just we just have to be on our toes nowadays.
Bruce, you said that Google is using AI to fight back or something like
Yes.
what
Uh, Google is using their own um, version of AI. I forget what the name of that is. And matter of fact, there later on there's going to be. I think Siri's going to be. He's going to be running on it.
yeah.
But yes, they are using their own version of it, and they're blocking all kinds of stuff. I don't know if this is just recently, or they have been doing something similar previous, so I don't know. But this is a humongous amount of data nowadays that they have to go through. So, but if it's preventing all that stuff from getting to us, that's fine with me.
One thing I got to tell you, I scan my server every morning, every night, and look at the spam and what's not spam and what I can block and what I can't block. And most of the spam is coming from Google servers, from Outlook, which is Microsoft servers, and AWS, which is Amazon servers. And you cannot block those servers because they're legitimate.
Yeah.
So whatever they're doing ain't working for email spam. I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah. Sharon?
Thanks. So how do firewalls work? And, why aren't they working?
This has nothing to do with firewall. Firewall is like on your computer. If you have a firewall, it keeps people from coming into you, maliciously trying to break into your computer and take control of it. Like on our BBS server and FileMaker server at the office, I have a firewall. I look and see every day on the mail what comes in. I get repeated emails from the same IP address to different email addresses, I'll block that because they're no good unless they're coming from Google. You can't block a Google server because legitimate mail will come from it. That's the problem.
It's not just spam. The phone calls are just as bad.
Yeah,
Scams and phone calls.
Yeah, and Sharon, you saw what I just showed you, that those two pieces of information there at the beginning. I mean, that guy came in through, matter of fact, I forget what it was from England, but he came in, slipped through somehow, and if I didn't read that, or I panicked and clicked on it or something like that, who knew? Or who knows what would happen. So just be aware, be up to date, and everything's it's gonna be fine. That's all I can say. I'm not saying it will, but just be aware of it. So let's move on. I have a few videos now. The few, like I said in the beginning, are real short, and this is from Apple and how to scan documents onto notes. Anybody that has questions, we can hold it back till the end and we talk about this. But let you see the videos right now. So here we go.
Want to add a document to a note you're working on? You can use the Notes app to scan documents on your iPhone or iPad. Here's how. While you're working on a note, tap the Attachments button. Then tap Scan Documents. Now, position the camera so the full document appears on your screen, and it automatically scans. You can also change the flash settings, choose a filter to apply to the scan, and toggle between automatic and manual shutter settings. After the document scans, add additional scans to the document, or tap the Save button if you're done. The scanned document saves in the note. Frame, scan, wow!
Well, it was easy. I I uh I do scanning like that on a weekly basis from when I go and pick up membership mail from the post office. I have to open it up and scan the checks and send it, I mean, deposit them and then send the copies over to have it updated, updated our membership database. So I use folders, but apparently you can do it from multiple software, including Notes and other software that's on your iPad or a phone. It's really easy. It does it for you. You don't have to click anything. You just point and it'll tell you when it's done, and you'll hear a click, and then you just keep on going. A real handy gadget. So here's another one. And I haven't heard of this one before, but it's how to add backgrounds in messages on iPhone and iPad and on the Mac. I'd like to hear that. So let's see it.
Make your iMessage conversations as unique as you and your contacts. Here's how to add backgrounds in the Messages app starting in iOS 26, iPadOS 26, macOS Tahoe, and visionOS 26. We're adding a background on iPhone. In a conversation, tap the name of your friend or group chat at the top of your screen. And then tap Backgrounds. Here you'll find a variety of options. At the bottom of your screen, you can select one of the suggestions or pick from one of the categories above. You can use a photo from your library, generate an image with Image Playground, or select a built-in background like color, sky, water, or aurora. We're going to choose sky. Next, swipe to view the available options. Let's pick this one. Once you've made your selection, tap the Done button in the upper right. And then tap the Back button to return to your conversation. The background changes for your friend too, if their iPhone is also using iOS 26. Now you know how to personalize your iMessage conversations.
That was cute. I don't know what to think about it, but yeah, it's something we would have to work with and see what that looks like. I've got
Mike
Mr.
has his hand
Dickerson.
up. Mike has his
Yeah.
hand up.
Mike.
I just wanted to say that, that's kind of a cute thing to do with your messages, but know that the person on the other end can change it to something else. So you may think that you're going to have a nice little desert scene and that'll be great because you're going to, one lives in Arizona and you live here or wherever, and that's great. But if they say, I don't like that, I'm going to change it to something else, then they can change it too. So,
Oh,
just so you know, if you can change it, they can change it. You'd think that you would change it so only you would see that, or they would have the option of making it so they don't see that if they didn't like it. You know what I mean?
I'll take your word for it.
But they can, they both people can do it, and when I first learned about it, I tried it a few times, and every time it got bounced back to something else, and it's just got to be, forget it.
Sharon has her hand up.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, changing subject kind of, but aren't these just iPhone to iPhone? Is it one of those, like I can't do send later to somebody with an Android?
No,
right?
won't work. No, it's not. No.
Thanks.
I'm gonna try that. That's interesting. But what Mike said, that's how I choose my friends. You choose my backgrounds or you change my backgrounds. Well, we're gonna talk about it. Okay, here we go. Here's the next one. How to delete or uninstall apps on a Mac.
Want to free up some space on your Mac? It's easy to delete apps you no longer use. Deleting an app doesn't remove any documents or other files you may have created. It also doesn't cancel any subscriptions that you may have purchased. Here's how to do it. In Finder, click Applications and click the app you'd like to remove. If it's currently open, quit the app before continuing. Now, click the File menu and choose Move to Trash. You can also drag the app to the trash. If you're asked for a username and password, authenticate with Touch ID or enter the name and password for an administrator account on your Mac. Now that the app is in the trash, we'll need to empty the trash to delete it. To do that, click the Finder menu and choose Empty Trash. Then, click Empty Trash to confirm. And it's done. Remove an app, free up space.
No, don't
John,
do
can you
that.
comment
Don't
on
do
that?
that.
Yeah.
If only it were that simple.
No.
Yeah, really. I didn't see that that's the easy way of doing it, but it's in 4 or 5 different places on your Mac that you have to get it out of also.
If you use a Microsoft product, an Adobe product, you absolutely will leave behind a lot of stuff that's running in the background that you don't see will continue to run. Other programs, utilities may install stuff that start up and run in the background. Complicated apps that have installers instead of just drag to the apps folder usually have an uninstaller, or you go to the app and in the menu it'll have uninstall. It will go find its parts. There's a log file of what it installed and it will pull them. If not, there's a free utility called App Cleaner. You open the window, you drag the app into there, it will list all the files associated that it's going to remove. And then you can, if there's none, then it's only the app and you could have dragged it to the trash. But usually there can be some or a lot of stuff in there. And in that window, you push trash and it will put those in the trash. And then you can empty the trash.
Thank you, Mr. Sobrero. Man, that was
If you want to do in Q&A, I'll show you App Cleaner in Q&A.
okay, because
We've gone over this. We've gone
people.
over this many times. I don't know why Apple would say something like that.
Yeah. Okay, well. Anybody else? Just in case you want to remove something, we'll talk about it later on. So I've got another Apple one. How to take a screenshot on your iPhone. Let's see.
Want to capture what's on your iPhone screen? We'll show you how. To take a screenshot of what's on your screen on an iPhone with Face ID, press the side button and the volume up button at the same time. You can then edit it or add drawings and text with markup. If you have Apple Intelligence enabled on your supported device, you can also tap Ask to ask a question about what's on screen. If you touch and hold text, you can look it up with Highlight to search. Or tap Search to search the web for similar items. The Close button deletes the screenshot without saving. When you're ready, tap the Done button in the upper right corner and choose to save your screenshot to Photos, Files, or a note. We'll tap Save to Photos. Your screenshot leaves the screen and saves to your chosen app where you can find it later. See it? Snap it. Keep it.
I don't understand the bot at the end of it, because whenever I take a screenshot, it doesn't give me the option to choose. It automatically puts it in photos.
Yeah, me too.
Huh. But according to what I just saw here, you can choose where to put it. Okay. Is that correct, John?
When I do a screenshot, it pops down to the right corner of the screen, and then I click on it, it'll open it up to edit it or not. Or if I don't open it up when I click, it ends up on my desktop. But I think you can set the default location of where it saves it to.
I don't know.
Or you
Okay.
talk on the Mac. I don't do screenshots on the iPhone very often. Mike probably does. Mike's got his hand up.
I do a lot of I do 80% of my screenshots are on my phone. And what he was saying is true. You can click the volume up in the side button, it takes a screenshot and it pulls it down there, and then you can you can edit it if you want. When you hit the check mark, it gives you the locations, photos, file, quick notes, copy and delete screenshot, whatever. And you can also edit it to a degree. You can use the markup feature and you can use the share feature on your phone.
Huh.
I think for sure the default location for screenshots on the iPhone is photos, because I open up people's photos sometimes and there's a whole media section. You click on screenshots and there'll be just like screenshots of it, mistakes and everything you can possibly imagine in there and forever.
It'd be interesting what operating system they're on. Maybe this just came out with 26.
I've seen the media thing where they separated screenshots, videos, selfies, that didn't exist a long time ago, but I think it's been in there for a while.
All I know is that's how I've always done it with my phones. You can add, like you said, you tap the lower left, you can edit it, and now you don't have to do that. There is an option. I take it back. As I recall, there is an option, I think, in your settings. I'll check on it and get back to y'all.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking and it's thanks, Mike, because yeah, it does bring it up. All I get is crop and scale or select text. Can you add captions to a photo? That's what I'd love to do. I've
Yeah,
never seen that.
it's
So I don't know. Yeah.
in the little markup section, that little where it's got a circle, looks like a marking pin in it.
And pen. Okay.
You tap on
Really?
that and then
Yeah.
tap the plus on the lower right.
Okay.
It
And
says add
it's
text.
image description or something.
But keep going. Two on down there is add text.
Oh, wait. Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
And then letter. It doesn't bring up a keyboard, just the letters.
Add text, and then
Wait. Yeah, go ahead.
you have real quick. You have the choice of there's a color like in mine is black, then it has an alphabet, and then
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's
So
on
you-
the screen.
yeah.
But and then I tap on it and it brings up the keyboard. Okay,
Right.
got it. Thanks. Thanks. And but also for me, I have problems and I have an SE and it's the circle and the on button. And if I hit them simultaneously, I hassle with it. So I found my best to hit the on off button on the right and hold that down and then do it's the little circle, like fingerprint ID place. Just that little tip. Thanks.
Yeah, you can do that. They have a thing where you can double tap the back of your phone, triple tap. That's
No,
right. It's
I
much
get in
too
trouble
many.
when I do that.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
use
good.
this. I use the assistive touch option. That's always easiest for me.
I've started to use that too on some things because holding two buttons on different sides of the phone is real hassle. So
It's a
assigning back tap. So I'm practicing ahead of time for when I go to the iPhone 17 family of using back tap to do home.
Like I said, I use assistive touch. It's just easier for me. I've got double tap is a screenshot and hold on it, does a restart. But like I said, it's personal preference.
Kenji has his hand up.
Kenji, Mr. Kenji, go for it.
So when I do a screenshot on my iPhone, if I click the check mark, I get a pop-up that gives me a choice of save to photos, save to files, save to quick note, copy and delete, or delete screenshot. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like that.
I believe that by default on the phone, I see there's a lot of accidental screenshots in people's photos. And if you don't do anything, it just goes to photos.
Right.
Even if it's a mistake. So there's all these mistakes in people's photos if you look in the screenshots media.
I find that it doesn't. It's actually going that I have to actually affirmatively click the check mark. And if I do that, I believe by default, it's if I don't check the check mark, it just goes away. It's not saved to photos, unless it's saving to photos in some mysterious location out in the library.
They may have changed that, but I can tell you from looking at lots of people's photos albums, they have lots of screenshots of complete mistakes. You can tell they're mistakes. If they take it of the home screen or the lock screen or something that you obviously wouldn't take a picture of. So when they're doing it and somehow they don't even realize they're doing it.
So they may have changed that. So when they do a screenshot, do they always get the preview window pop up?
No, not unless you click on that little photo image in the right-hand corner that it goes to right away. I just discovered that. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could bring up an edit menu. Very, very edifying. And I have 26.4.1 iOS.
So then it might be a setting. It might be a setting in settings. So let me go look.
Let's move on to the next video and we can discuss more of this in Q&A.
Let Mike answer it.
I was just going to real quick touch base on if you go to settings, general screen capture, it does give you some options there.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. Here's the first one from MacMost.
Yes, if I could just insert here. Yes, the first on that page, the first item is full screen previews. That's what I'm seeing. Is a full screen preview window.
Okay, thanks.
Next bit, go ahead.
How to use Mac Quick Look in 5 minutes. Well, let's see.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here's everything you need to know about using Quick Look on your Mac in 5 minutes. So Quick Look is a built-in system utility that allows you to preview files before you open them. You can be in any Finder view, like icon view here, or say list view. You can select a file and then press the space bar, and what you get is Quick Look, this window here that shows you the file. You can move this window around, you can stretch it like any other window, and to dismiss it you can click the X here or just press spacebar again. The options you have in Quick Look depend on the file you've chosen. For instance, for this video file here, I've got playback controls at the bottom. For this Pages document here, I'll see some of the text and I can scroll through all the pages. For this numbers spreadsheet here, I can even browse through the different sheets. When you bring up Quick Look, it's the file in the Finder that is still selected. So you can still access all of the Finder menu commands and keyboard shortcuts here to, say, open the file or do something else with it, even while viewing it in Quick Look. You can even use the down arrow to go to the next image here in the Finder, which then would update the Quick Look window to show that image. So you can flip through the images in a folder very quickly. Or you can simply click to select the image there in the Finder and the Quick Look window will update. You can also use Quick Look with folders. Select a folder, press the spacebar to bring out Quick Look, and it will give you the total file size and count for all the files in that folder.
For all standard Mac apps and standard file types, Quick Look knows how to display them. For third-party apps, the app itself needs to include a definition for Mac OS to be able to show a preview of the file in Quick Look. Sometimes apps do it, sometimes they don't. And sometimes apps save files that are a standard format anyway, or parts of the file that's saved include a standard preview, like perhaps an image that Quick Look can then show you. But you will occasionally run across files that can't be displayed in Quick Look, and then you just get a generic icon and some file information. You also get some different options depending upon the file type. So for instance, with this image selected here, I can bring up Quick Look and notice that I can use this button here to rotate the image 90 degrees. With this video file here, you can see I've got trimming tools and I can trim the video file right here in Quick Look. With word processing documents or text files, I can actually select the text inside. So I can copy text out of a document without ever even opening the document up. And with both PDF and image files, you can use the markup tools with this button. And then you can mark up the image, adding lines and arrows and text as you like without even needing to open it up in an app like Preview. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 3,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now, if you have multiple images selected and you bring up Quick Look, notice you get arrows here at the top and you can flip through your images. You can use the right and left arrow keys to do this as well. You can also click this index page button here and then see all the images like this. You could jump into one to see it and return to the index page like that. You can also view one or more images in full screen mode by bringing up Quick Look and then clicking on this button here, and you'll just view the whole image. You can return to the normal window like that. You can also jump directly to that with the Option key. So Option space brings up Quick Look full screen. If you select multiple images, Option space will bring up all of those images full screen, and you can flip through them with a little interface down here or go to the index sheet. And you can use Quick Look in more places than just the Finder. For instance, I can bring up Spotlight here and I can use the arrow keys to select a file like this. I can use spacebar here to bring up Quick Look for that file. So it works there in Spotlight. It works in Finder searches as well. And it even works in File Open dialogues. Here I am in Pages, for instance. I go to File Open and I can select a file, and before I decide to open it, I can press the space bar and use Quick Look right here to preview that file. Get to know Quick Look as it's one of the most powerful productivity tools on your Mac. Thanks for watching.
That was good.
Want to know about every new Mac?
Oh, so remember, spacebar brings up Quick Look. You know, it's good to know because putting this presentation together, I go through some the good number of files that I have to look at. Stuff, and I open each one individually, and I guess I can look. I can use Quick Look by just opening it up and maybe doing what I need to do from there. Go ahead, Kenji.
So where he showed us trimming a video in Quick Look or I guess yeah. Would that be destructive when you trim a video that way? In other words, does it resave the file so you've lost the part you trimmed, or is it still there? Is it like editing a photo in the Photos app?
I don't know, but I know one thing is when I trim files using what the heck do I use?
QuickTime Player.
A QuickTime Player. You have to open up QuickTime Player and bring in that video into QuickTime Player. So I wonder if this was like, I heard this. You telling me I can trim it right here and save it that way? That would be nice.
I would assume it just opens QuickTime Player in the background, and when you edit a QuickTime Player movie, it saves it as a new untitled. You have to give it a new title. It saves it as a new version. It keeps the original file and makes a new file with the edit. You have to try it and see. And I can't imagine it would do something different. That's pretty complicated to edit a video file.
Cool.
Try it and find out. Make a copy of your file first if you care about it. When I edit a file, like one of these Zoom meetings, I need to trim. I make a duplicate of it, and then I edit the duplicate because in case I screw up, I don't lose the original.
Google's AI just said it was destructive.
Really?
Oh, really?
Probably not the best way to do it. Make a mistake. You trim the wrong part. You cut the part that you intended to keep, then you'd be out of luck.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should always duplicate whatever you're doing before.
Yes.
Is there a way to get...
us Jewish kids experience that right after birth.
I don't edit them
having
enough.
a part trimmed.
If you do use it a lot, you would be familiar with it, but I don't use it enough that when I go to use it, I can't remember which part I selected. Is that the part I'm going to chop, or that's the part I'm going to keep? So if you do the wrong thing, you're screwed.
Well, in Quick Look, you got to drag those handles. Yeah, it gets involved. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, tough to figure it out. We'll see what happens. Okay. Anyone else?
You could do a duplicate wallet in Quick Look.
Yeah.
Quick Look lets you duplicate the file you're viewing.
Yeah, I would always, no matter how you're doing it, I would always duplicate a video file before you mess with it.
Yeah.
Same with a photo.
Oh yeah, same with that's right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, remind me to tell you something about editing photos later on.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. So here we go. This is Dan's tutorials. What's using all my iPad storage. Let's figure out what he's got to say about that. He says after downloading all this stuff, I need to find out what it's using. So here we go.
In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can manage our storage space on the iPad with iPadOS 26. This is one of the first things that you'll want to do if you're having random issues with your iPad. You want to check the storage space. Essentially, the iPad, or I should say any computer, likes to have at least 10%, but I would recommend 20% free storage space. When you get below that, you can run into random issues. Now, if you find this video helpful, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. All right, let's take a look at how we can manage our storage space on the iPad. Let's go over to my iPad. Now, as I mentioned, if you're having random issues with the iPad, one of the first things you'll want to do is check your storage space. To do that, what we do is we go over to our Settings app. I tap on it. And then from here, what we need to do is we need to go over to General. Under General, what you're going to see is iPad storage. I tap on that. And now I can see my iPad storage. So what are we looking at here? Well, basically at the very top here, what we're looking at is a bar graph of all of our storage. We can see that most of my storage is being used up by apps. This is a demo iPad that I just used for a demo, so I don't have a lot of information on this. But if you had a lot of photos on there, you might see a yellow bar in there. If you have a lot of podcasts, you're going to see a green bar in there. So you can kind of see what is taking up your storage. In addition to that, you can also see how much storage you have as well as how much you are using. So in this case here, I'm using 44 gigabyte out of 256 gigabyte. Like I said, what you want to do is you want to leave at least 10%, but I would recommend 20%. This is just a standard rule when working with computers. Could be a Mac, could be Windows, could be an iPad, could be the iPhone. They just like to have a little bit of what I call breathing room, about 10 to 20%. All right, so let's just say that you are using a lot of storage. What can you do? Well, the first thing is we have recommendations by Apple. Now, you might see more recommendations here. My recommendation here is to offload unused apps. So when I tap on Enable, what it's going to do is it's going to offload unused apps. So what is offload? Well, basically, if you haven't used that app in a while, it's going to delete the app. It's going to remove it from the iPad, but it is not going to delete the data. It's only going to remove the app, and you can easily download it again because it's still going to be on your home screen. It's just not taking up any information. More on that in a little bit because I'll tell you how you can offload apps manually as well. All right, so we have our recommendations. In my case, again, I just have one recommendation, but you might have more recommendations there. Another thing we can do is we can see what apps are taking up our space. So when we look here, you're going to see that I have Music, GarageBand, and iMovie. Those are the top 3 apps that are taking up space. And if we go over to the right, you can see how much space they're taking. So I can easily swipe up and see which apps are taking up all of my space. Now from here, what you're able to do is you're able to delete the data in some cases, as well as the app. So let's just go with Music here. I tap on it. And you're going to see that I'm able to offload the app. Again, more on that in a little bit. I can also delete the app. This is just going to delete the app. And then I can also delete the data. So it's going to delete the music on there. So the app is going to stay on there, but the data is not. So in this case with the Music app, I have a lot of different options. I'm going to go back. Let's take a look at GarageBand. This has taken up 181 gigabyte. I don't use GarageBand. Let's go and clear up some space. I tap on it, and then from here I'm able to offload the app as well as delete the app. Now with this one, I can't delete any data. That's because I don't have any data. The app itself has taken up 181 gigabytes. So if I wanted to free up 181 gigabytes, I'd have to delete the app. So that's how we can see how much space an app is using, as well as delete the app as well as the data. Now let's take a closer look at these offloading apps. What is offloading an app? Well, basically when you offload an app, like I said earlier, what you're going to be doing is removing the app itself. So in this case here, GarageBand. I tap on that, and we can see that it is taking up 1.61 gigabytes. And if I wanted to delete the app, I tap on delete the app. It's going to remove the app as well as the data. And then if I wanted to offload it, I can tap on offload. So now let's take a closer look at this offload. What does that mean? Well, in this case here, what it will do is it will remove the app, the 1.61 gigabytes that we have up here. It's going to remove that 1.61 gigabytes. But what it will not remove is the data. So I have 46 kilobytes of data in here. It will not remove that. So it's not going to remove the data. It's only going to remove the app. So this works really well when you have large apps, such as GarageBand. But if you have really small apps, it doesn't really do that much. Let's go ahead and offload an app. What we're going to do is we're going to offload Match Factory. This is a game. I don't play it, and it is taking up 604 megabytes. So what I want to do is I want to offload this. I don't play it, but maybe what I want to do is I want to play it at a later date. So I don't want to erase the data. This is where offloading apps comes into play. So now I just tap on Offload App, and what it's going to do is it's going to remove that app. It's going to offload it, but it's going to keep the data. So then when I re-download it again, it's going to have all of my games in there. So now it is offloaded. First thing we can do is we can reinstall the app directly from the Settings app. But in addition to that, what we're also able to do is reinstall it from our home screen. So I'm going to swipe up, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to the app library, and this was called Match. So I'm going to swipe up here. You're going to see we have Match Factory. That's the one that I offloaded. So why is it on my iPad? Well, that's because it still has the data on there. So if I wanted to download this, all I have to do is just go over here to download, and it'll download it. So you're still going to see references to it on your home screen. But when you tap on it, instead of opening up, what it first needs to do is it needs to download it. And then it'll open up and all of your data will be there. So that's what offloading an app does. It's another way of saving space. And if you look at some of the apps can get quite large. I'm going to go back over to my settings here, and you're going to see that some of these apps can get quite large. I didn't have any data in GarageBand or iMovie, and you can see that they're taking up quite a bit of space. So if you don't use those apps and you want to keep the data, you can offload those. So that's how we can manage our space on the iPad. Basically, we just have to go over to our settings, we go to General, and then we go over to iPad Storage. From there, you're able to see all of your apps categorized and how much space they're taken by category, such as photos or music. And then you can also see recommendations, and then you can also manually manage those apps. You can delete them altogether, or you can offload them. So that's how we manage our space on the iPad. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is like the video. You can subscribe to my channel. You can share it with your friends and family.
Okay. Anybody I have to say one thing though. Mike got himself a new phone, and it's I think iPhone 17 or something like that. And I was kind of picking on him that he loaded that thing with a whole bunch of room, a whole bunch of space. But believe it or not, he's right. If you can afford it, next I'm gonna get is I'm gonna put as much storage in there as I can. You never have to worry about what you was just saying, how to offload stuff, and you got to have 10% left on there or all the space, otherwise the thing starts ticking up.
Yeah.
To avoid all that, you just load it and don't worry about it, right, Mike?
Correct. I mean, I dated a lady who always went for the cheapest phone she could get, and then she would complain her photos weren't loading. So while she's sitting there watching TV, I'd have her go through her photos and videos and delete them and everything else to make room. I just don't want to do that. I mean, I don't really have to worry about storage on my phone. I don't work for a living, and I got what, 512 gigabytes or something.
Yep.
I'm happy with that. It's like having those 23 bedroom mansions. You just live in a different one each day, and you don't have to worry about cleaning them until they're all full.
I tell you, I got to warn you. I have one client who watches all kinds of news and videos on his phone, and like when you do that, it can store all those even after you're done. Like I read the Contra Costa Times using the app on the iPad every morning. It downloads the whole newspaper every day and never deletes any of them. So one day I went and I was looking at the stuff. And I said, what the heck? The Contra Costa Times has like this stupid amount of data. And so it didn't have a delete the data part. So if you want to get rid of it, what you have to do is you have to delete the app, which deletes the data, and then re-download the app, and then it's blank. It doesn't have any old newspaper, and you log back in and you start over. But unless you want to go back and read yesterday's or last week's newspaper, you don't need a year's worth of 365 issues of the paper. Like reading them in your house every day and stacking them up. Pretty soon you got these stacks of newspapers all over the place.
Contra Costa Times, I'm not sure you need one day of it, but I think it's kind of rude on their part to do that.
I should clear it out after timers or give you an option in the app to clean it out or something.
Exactly. They should have an option there that says
option to save a week's worth or some way to deal with it, and they don't. Because like the Sunday edition is 250 pages with all the real estate and all the stuff they throw in there, the advertisements, is 250 pages. It's like if you get it delivered, it's like several inches thick.
Bert, go ahead.
In the iPad, using files, on iCloud, you can keep something downloaded or remove it. What happens if you check keep downloaded and then you delete that item, whether it's a spreadsheet or an image or document? Is it still occupying storage?
No, it deletes it everywhere on all your devices, not just your iPad. Yeah, although it saves a copy for 30 days in iCloud.
Okay. Let's move on to, I think I got a couple more. So the next one is from Gary. And this is about 10 ways to clean up your menu on your Mac, menu bar on your Mac. It's how to manage with all this. He's referring to, I think, the stuff on the right-hand side. Sometimes people have so much of this stuff, half of it I don't even know what it is. So let's see what he's got to say.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you how you can clean up your Mac's menu bar. So the menu bar on your Mac can get quite crowded with icons on the right. Here are some ways that you can clean that up. As you can see here, I've got a lot of items here in my menu bar. Now, if you've got a MacBook, then you've got a notch at the top center of your screen, and some of these may not even be visible because you've got too many items here and they disappear underneath the notch. So it's important that you clean it up, not just to make it look less cluttered, but also so you can access the things you want. One way to do that is to go into System Settings and then look for Menu Bar here on the left. Then you have a variety of different checkboxes. You can use this to survey what you've got here in the menu bar and then remove or add something to it. It's the most straightforward way to control what's in your menu bar. Plus you get options like whether or not items are always shown or only shown when active. For instance, here I've got Now Playing. It's only shown when active as opposed to always being shown even when I'm not playing any music. Now you don't have to go to System Settings to remove items from your menu bar. You can drag them out. The trick is to hold down the Command key, then click and drag down. Drag far enough down until you see the word remove appear above the icon, and then release, and then the item will be removed from the menu bar. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 3,000 others that support MacMost through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. But another thing you can do by command dragging is to reorder items. So you can move items left or right by holding the Command key down and dragging them and placing them there. Since items to the left may be hidden underneath a MacBook notch, or even if you don't have a MacBook, they may get hidden when you have too many menus on the left. You want to put your most important items on the right and the ones that you need the least on the left. So for instance, you may want to leave the weather here on the left. But if you find you always need to control the volume, you may want to drag that over to the right so it's less likely to disappear under the notch or other menus. But you don't have to completely get rid of items from the menu bar if things are cluttered. You can put them in Control Center. Control Center and the menu bar work together. You can drag items from the menu bar. All you need to do is click Edit Controls. And now, in addition to being able to add controls to your Control Center here, or remove them or move them around, you can also drag them from the menu bar. So I can drag this dark mode button here from the menu bar into Control Center, put it here in Control Center. This saves space and declutters my menu bar, and I still can access it from the menu bar by simply going to Control Center and then finding the button there. And if Control Center is getting too crowded, note that you can have multiple control centers. So I could go to Edit Controls here, and there's a plus button in the menu bar. I can click that and it will add another control center. I can even set an appropriate icon for it if I like, and I can move it over to wherever I want. I'll place it right here, and I can put new items from the menu bar into this control center. And then I've got multiple control centers that I can select from. So I can really organize my menu bar buttons under one or more control centers like this. Now, before Apple added the ability to move menu bar items to Control Center and have multiple control centers, there were a lot of third-party apps that basically did the same thing. But now you can do it with just native macOS functionality. Now, one of the biggest items in the menu bar is the clock at the top right. You can't get rid of it because it's the button that controls whether or not Notification Center with the widgets comes out of the right side of the screen. But you can shrink this down and customize it. Go back into System Settings and then go to Menu Bar again. And then you'll see Clock and Clock Options. And you can decide exactly what shows up there. So you can remove things that you don't think you need and even convert it to just a small single icon analog clock like that to save the most space. Now, some items have multiple modes, some of which take up less space. For instance, this item here is fast user switching, something I use all the time. And it takes up a lot of space here because it shows the name of the current user, which could be useful. But you could also go inside of System Settings menu bar and change it. So instead of showing the full name, it shows a shorter account name or just a small icon like that. And on a MacBook, you can also change how the battery icon looks, showing you more or less information. And a lot of third-party apps that put an icon in the menu bar also have settings that changes how that icon looks or when it appears. And in fact, here in System Settings, if you scroll further down, you'll see Allow in menu bar, and it'll show you all these third-party apps here. A lot of these will only show the icon in the menu bar when the app is active or when it's doing something in particular. You could switch it off here to take it out of the menu bar permanently, but it's best to go into the app itself to see what options are available there as well. Some of the items in the menu bar you can completely get rid of and use the keyboard shortcuts for those instead of the buttons. For instance, for Spotlight or for Siri, you can completely rely on the keyboard instead. In System Settings, go to Keyboard here at the bottom and then go to Keyboard Shortcuts. Then for Spotlight, you'll see you've got a keyboard shortcut to Command Space, and you can even customize it. Then up in Apple Intelligence and Siri, you've got a keyboard shortcut setting for Siri as well. You could set it to the globe or FN key and S, pressing the Command key twice, or customize it to whatever you want. And then you can go to the menu bar here and turn off Siri and turn off Spotlight to save that space. Now, if you don't like how the menu bar is kind of transparent over the background, you have control of that. This is also in the menu bar settings here, and you could turn on Show Menu Bar Background to put a background behind it like this. It will still be tinted according to what's underneath it, but you can go into Accessibility and then Display and then turn on Reduce Transparency. And then that gets rid of the tinting here. Now here's one advanced tip. You can actually reduce the spacing between the items in the menu bar. You want to use this command typed exactly like this, capitalization counts, and it will reduce the amount of spacing from 10 pixels to, in this case, 2 pixels. You need to restart the menu bar using Kill All Control Center for it to take effect. Watch how it changes. You can try going all the way down to 0 or maybe more than 10 if you would like more spacing. To reset it to the default, use this command here and again restart Control Center and it'll go back to how it was. So if you find your menu bar is a little too cluttered, hopefully some of these techniques will help. Thanks for watching.
Whoa.
Wow, there's a problem I didn't know I had.
Shit. I'm just looking. The first thing I got to do is use that 2 pixels because it's stretched across the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, that's only for people that don't have space. On this thing over here, it's a 27-inch monitor. Well, I don't really need to do anything. So, but Mike on his 17-inch, well, the thing in the middle there, you got to watch out. Anyway, that's so Kenji, go ahead.
So on my MacBook, I use a free utility called Say No to Notch. And what that does is it just brings the menu bar down a smidge below the notch, and I don't miss that real estate at all. and then I don't have menu bar items hidden. But the second thing is, so he showed us that you could drag a dark mode button off the menu bar into Control Center. What dark mode button? I would love to have
I guess it's third-party software.
I don't know.
I think maybe
Any
he put it
idea,
up there just to
John?
show that you can drag something to Control Center.
Yes, but I would love to have a dark mode button in the menu bar. So I'm wondering what exactly that was.
Mr. Severo, any ideas?
I don't do dark mode, so I don't know.
I'm a big
Oh,
dark
okay.
mode fan because I find it's much easier on my eyes.
Yeah, same here. So, but I didn't know you could just drag something off. I don't use third. It's another
Apparently,
thing.
apparently, if you go to the Control Center and
Wait.
click on the dark mode command, then tap the dark mode button, you can drag it up to the menu bar.
So anything in Control Center, you can almost anything you can drag up to the menu bar.
Exactly.
Kenji, system settings, dark mode, appearance, under appearance.
Yes, but I know how to turn dark mode on and off. I'm wondering how to get a button to be able to flip back and forth in the menu bar.
Look
like
in
he
Control
had.
Center.
Yeah,
Look
just
in Control Center.
Right. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Any of
really?
those
So-
icons in
Oh.
Control Center, if you see it in there, I
Boy.
believe you can drag them up there.
Well, I'm looking at it and it doesn't seem draggable.
Oh.
Does it take a key combination to drag it?
Nope. Oh. Mine's under display. I drag display up there and you can adjust the brightness, or there's dark mode off, night shift. Now this is in Ventura, so it might be under display. I have a button for dark mode off. I turned it off and then it changes to dark mode on. That's weird. Oh, it tells me dark mode is on. And then it tells me dark mode is off, and I push it and it goes on.
If you're looking for shortcuts, try a macro program such as Keyboard Maestro. You can set up anything you want with keystrokes.
Oh, you know what? I was trying to drag it from the Control Center itself, but you have to quick edit controls to get the full pop-out list. And you can drag it from there.
I drag in Ventura in Control Center pull down. I have display and I just drag that up on the menu bar. Now it may work different now.
On mine, you open a Control Center, you go down to whichever one you want, like dark mode, and you can, well, hold on, it just disappeared. You can double or two-finger click on it, and there's an option to copy to menu bar.
Oh.
Okay, do we have another video?
Yes, there was one more. Okay. Here's one by Dan. And it says, is your phone sharing too much? Here's how to fix it.
In this video, we're going to take a look at our privacy and security settings on the iPhone. Basically, with our privacy and security settings, what we're able to do is control which apps have access to our data, including our location, our camera, or microphone. Now, if you find this video helpful, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. All right, let's take a look at our privacy and security settings on the iPhone. Let's go over to my iPhone. So now where do we find our privacy and security settings? Well, of course, they're going to be in the Settings app. So let's go ahead and tap on Settings. And then from here, what we need to do is we need to scroll up until we find privacy and security. I tap on that, and we have all of our different options. So let's take a look at our main options here. The first one here is location services. What this is going to do is let you control which apps have location or access to your location. So I tap on it, and now I can see all of the apps that have access to my location. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to revoke that access. So when I swipe up here, let's go with Bing. We can see that it always has access to my location. Maybe I want to change that. I don't want to give access to it at all. Or what I'd like to do is I would like to give access to it when that app is open. So what we do is we just tap on that, and then from here we can set it to be never, ask the next time I open it up, or while using the app, or always. So it is set for always, but let's go ahead and change this to while using the app. I don't want it to access my location when the app is in the background or when it's closed. So now instead of always, it's only going to know my location when the app is open. Also, with this particular app, I can also set if I want to allow precise location. Now they are probably collecting data to sell to different advertisers. So I don't want them to know my precise location. So when it is tracking my location, it is not going to use my precise location because that is turned off. So we can do this for individual apps. You're going to see that when I open up BusyCal. I tap on it, and we can see that it has access when I'm using the app. I'm going to leave it at that. I could change it to always or never, but I do like to see the weather in there. So while I'm using the app, it's going to update that weather. In addition to that, as far as I know, they're not selling my information. So I'm going to allow precise location with this particular app. So that's how we can set our access for our location on our different apps. Let's go back. Our next option here is tracking. Basically with tracking, what a developer can do is they can put code into a website that tracks your activity. This can be across websites, apps, as well as company data. Now, in some cases, they might use that for their app, but in other cases, what they might do is they might sell that information. So do you want to allow apps to track your information? Well, with this, what you can do is you can tap on it and then set if you want to allow them. Basically, what this is going to do, I shouldn't say it's not going to disallow them. What it's going to do is it's going to allow apps to request to track. So when you download an app, when this is turned on, mine is turned off, when this is turned on, when you download an app that has that tracking information in there, there's going to be a dialog that pops up, and it'll ask if you want it to allow you to track your information. With this being turned off, it is not going to ask you that. So then it's not going to track your information. Let's go ahead and go back. Our next one here is for our information across different apps. So with calendars, what apps are accessing my calendars? Well, when I tap on it, I can see that Fantastical and GoodTask as well as Zoom are accessing my calendar. And when we look at Fantastical and GoodTask, they have full access, while Zoom can only add events. So what we're able to do is set, when I tap on any one of these, set if I wanted to access my calendar at all, or if I wanted to add events only, or if I wanted to allow full access. So when we go back, if we go to contacts, what do you think that's going to manage? Which apps have access to your contacts? So we can see that BusyCal, Keynote, Numbers, Pages, Reorder It, Spark, and Zoom all have access to my contacts. If you want to revoke access, again, you just tap on any one of them, and then you can set if you want to allow it access to your contacts. We'll look at one more here. Let's go with health. Which apps have access to your health data? Tap on it, and you can see which apps, and then you can go and revoke that access. So this is where you can set which apps have access to your personal information. I swipe up. Now this is the hardware. So that was our personal information, such as our calendars, our contacts, our health. This next section is more hardware. Which apps have access to Bluetooth, as an example? I tap on it, and I can see that Sonos, Tesla, and Tessie all have access to Bluetooth. I can turn that off so they no longer have access to Bluetooth. Or camera. Which apps have access to my camera? I tap on it and I can see that Halid and Zoom have access to my camera. And again, I can turn that off. So what we're able to do is set which apps have access to hardware functions of the iPhone. Now below that, we do have a few, I'm going to call them random settings here, but journaling suggestions. We can set which apps have access to our journal and which ones can suggest entries for that journal. We also can see our blocked contacts as well as safety check. Safety check is something that I recommend everyone run through at least once a year. It basically just runs through all the settings here, and you can easily see who you're sharing your information with, and you can revoke that access, or you can see what apps are sharing your information, or what I should say, what information is being shared with different apps. And again, you can revoke that access. So it's just a good way to review your privacy and security settings. So that's our privacy and security settings on the iPhone. This is all located within privacy and security within the settings app. We can set which apps have access to our location, as well as which apps have access to our personal information, such as our calendar, our contacts, our health. And then also what we're able to do is set which apps have access to some of the hardware features of the iPhone, like the camera or the microphone.
So that's it for today. Now we know how to set or allow or disallow the access to any of your apps. So it's time for questions and answers.
Okay, and your screen share. Okay, well, any questions, comments related to the videos today before we move on to a new recording for general Q&A? Okay, hearing none, we'll start a new recording. DVMUG members can find the next recording for general Q&A with a link on the BBS. Okay,